Welcome to all of you from Q3 Technologies on this global webinar on chatbots. This webinar is yet another edition in our ongoing webinar series, of which earlier was on IoT. I am Amit Kumar, leading marketing and analyst relations globally for Q3 Technologies and your host for this webinar. As we all know, digital transformation has become the new epicenter of this technology evolution. And now it doesn't matter whether big or not. All the organizations are aligning themselves towards it. And chatbot is no new in this name of digital era. Now, not taking much time, let me introduce you with our panel of experts. We have Vinod Singh, who is Senior Solutions Architect with Q3 Technologies. We have Uzair, who is Chatbot Architect. We have Varun Singla with us, who is heading Sales and Marketing globally for Q3 Technologies. And I am Amit, taking care of Marketing and Analyst Relations for Q3 Technologies. Now here, without not taking much of your time, I would like to invite Varun to set up the pace for all of us for this webinar. Welcome, Varun. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Amit, for the wonderful introduction and for setting the context. I welcome you all. I can see a lot of participants joining on this webinar, which is a great thing. My name is Varun Singla, and I manage the sales and marketing at Q3 Technologies. A bit of background about Q3 Technologies to start with. So Q3 was started more than 2 decades ago in 1996 in the US as a software services company. Since then, we have grown to become a niche organization with 500 plus expert technical and functional consultants and with 7 offices globally. We have 3 delivery centers in India, which are in Gurgaon, Mumbai and Jaipur. And we have offices across the US, UK, Australia and UAE, as you can see on the map. The DNA of Q3 Technologies is problem solving and designing the right solutions for our customers. The same is visible in our mission and vision statement, as you can see, that to be the leading provider of high-end, best-of-the-breed product engineering solutions and to nurture an environment that fosters a single-minded focus on the success of our customers. With this philosophy, we have implemented more than 1,000 successful custom software solutions for our clients globally. And these are large, medium, small, all types of clients. Thanks. So a little bit about our technology solutions and services. So our services and solutions are divided into 3 vertical and a horizontal, as you can see on the slide. And please let us know if there are any questions in between at any point of time. So all the major technologies are part of the technology solution vertical, which is in the middle, which includes the likes of Microsoft Technologies, open source, mobility solutions, including iOS, Android, and hybrid mobile applications, web development, testing and data analytics, big data, BI. For the consulting services, the fundamental behind consulting services was to bring together all the experiences and learning which we have gained over the years in different technologies, domains, business processes, industries, geographies. So that is what we do on the consulting services. About 4 years ago, we started the digital transformation practice. We realized early on that the industry will be going through radical transformation with the evolution of newer and faster technologies. This led us to start this practice with a team of some of the brightest minds in the country. Here we started working on all the latest and greatest technologies and paradigms which the customers are adopting at a fast pace. So these include the likes of artificial intelligence, machine learning, augmented reality, virtual reality, Internet of Things, RPA, which is robotic process automation, blockchain, and the focus of today's webinar, that is chatbots. And finally, there's an independent horizontal of design and user experience services to develop mockups, visualizations, and design for mobile and web applications. So that's what we offer as our solutions and services. Coming to the focus of this particular webinar, which is chatbots. So chatbots are fast gaining acceptance across all businesses and are often termed as a major disruptor in the digital transformation era. Various industrial journals and research organizations are closely following the development in the chatbot domains, and as you can see some of the quotes from the likes of Gartner, Bloomberg, Forbes on the screen. According to Gartner, by 2020, the average person will have more conversations a day with bots than they do have with their spouse. which is quite amazing to see. It may sound a bit far-fetched, but it is definitely an interesting prediction. By next year, again 2020, consumers will handle 85% of their engagement with businesses without ever interacting with another human being, which talks about the scope by which chatbots are expanding in today's world. So, how is the industry outlook for the chatbots? The chatbot industry is poised to grow at more than 24% year on year to reach from a mere $39 million in 2014 to about $1.23 billion in 2025. The number of chatbots on just Facebook grew by more than 100,000 in just 1 year between 2016 and 2017. Mobile applications have become an integral part of our daily functions. However, 67% of the respondents believe that chatbot usage will outperform the mobile applications in the next 5 years itself. So those are quite amazing statistics, as you can see. So what is a chatbot? Let's deep dive into the era of chatbots and what's driving the forces. So we know that any normal form of communication is generally termed as a chat. So chatbot is basically a virtual assistant which is capable to handle conversational communication with the users. A chatbot is typically developed to target a particular use case or a service or to answer a specific type of questions. In this era of chatbots, we can see different types of chatbots and they are right all around us in the forms of Google Assistant, Apple Siri, Amazon Alexa, Microsoft Cortana. You can see it on websites like HDFC Bank, Make My Trip, on QT Technologies website also there is a chatbot. So to start with, the basic type of chatbots are the scripted chatbots, which answers the FAQs or basic defined queries. It looks for key phrases and provides predefined responses. A more intelligent chatbot is the intent recognizers, which use a bit of machine learning to identify the intent of the question and then provide an appropriate answer. We will talk more about the intent and entities in the later slide, which Uzair will talk about. With the advancement of artificial intelligence and machine learning, chatbots are actually now becoming virtual agents and are filling in the shoes of human agents. So they are able to understand what a human is trying to achieve and can hold an end-to-end conversation. They can connect to other systems to leverage users' data and insights, and they can also learn and improve over time. Finally, the pinnacle of chatbots are basically something like a human-like advisor. So this is basically based on human-level artificial intelligence that can understand and reason its environment as a human would do. Now, where do we lie in this whole picture? So QT Technologies is doing quite an amazing work in the field of chatbots using various platforms and AI/ML algorithms, and we are moving towards implementing human-like advisors for our customers. Having said that, I want to reiterate that QT is a custom solutions organization and our solutions are tailor-made for each client requirement. So, coming to the nexus of forces, what's driving the market opportunities and adoption. So there are a variety of market and technology forces which are driving chatbot usage. On the one hand, we have increasing pressure on customer contact centers and rising demand for self-service, which is obviously increasing the demand for chatbots. And on the other hand, from technology perspective, you see, so there are huge advances in AI and NLP, which stands for natural language processing, and there are fast maturing platforms for chatbots, which are enabling better and more efficient chatbots day in, day out.
Wonderful, Varun. Well, I got me getting curious about the value that what these chatbots can do for us or for our business. And is it really that simple, like plug and play? What could be the challenges which anyone may face and how to tackle them? Well, what's the secret sauces? Here I would like to invite Vinod, our senior solution architect, to share his knowledge and experience with us. Welcome, Vinod, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Amit. So we heard, Varun, on how chatbots are influencing messaging landscape and how they are evolving every day. The question now that every organization is asking are the values that they are getting from chatbots, like where is the ROI in chatbots, what benefits I'll get out of chatbot implementation, how it's better than my human customer care agents or assistants. So talking about the first value that the chatbot provides, and it's a prime objective of the chatbot, is to be an assistant that is working for you 24/7. You don't have to think whether it's 1 o'clock at midnight and whether customer service is open or not. You just have to pick up your phone or laptop and start chatting. Chatbot also provides you an instant reply, so seeding through multiple systems or databases for user queries in seconds. It can take minutes or hours for a human assistant to figure out. Another important value that chatbot can provide is to identify each user uniquely and to provide responses specific to that user. So a human can act or behave differently talking to different customers, but your chatbot will give you personalized experience every time, addressing user with name, addressing his concerns upfront by looking at his previous complaints or grievances. So chatbots also provide flexibility to drive chat in multiple languages as per the preference of the user, providing him a personalized experience. So chatbot, as it looks from the onset, are more than just a messaging system. There is a lot of background AI and ML involved, which makes it more intelligent. Like chatbots leverage these capabilities to provide user with data that is more precise and futuristic. So chatbots with their backend AI ML engine are continuously learning about the user journey and can provide assistance based on the location, time of day, and context. Another most important part and the value that organizations ignore is the personality of chatbot. Chatbots interacting at massive scale becomes your brand ambassador, reflecting your company culture and values. For example, if you have a hospitality chatbot, it has to be a personality of greeting user differently than the chatbot that is a travel chatbot, which can have funny phrases or anecdotes in between. That's why to provide personality to chatbot, conversation design becomes very important. Companies are even now employing conversation designers to help in shaping chatbot personality. Talking about the last value and one of the important values that chatbot provides is it's a channel agnostic thing. People love to chat more than talking on phone, and that's where chatbot takes the lead. With multiple messaging systems like WhatsApp, Skype, Slack, Alexa, Google Assistant, it becomes easy for user to interact with any of these messaging systems on any platform, whether you are sitting on a laptop or on your smartphone or tablet. So chatbot provides you flexibility to design conversations for multiple channels and platforms, which also helps in the adoption of the chatbot. Coming to the next slide. So we discussed in previous slide that how chatbots can provide value to an organization, but it's not that simple as it seems. So there are challenges that we as a chatbot implementation organization have faced while implementing bots, ranging from simple FAQ chatbot to enterprise-wide level chatbots. Organizations have just started realizing potential of chatbots, and everybody wants that small chatbot icon on their company intranet portal or on their website or on their Android app. But what they miss is the complexity behind this simple chatbots. On this slide, we have tried to list down some of the challenges that we have seen with organizations implementing chatbot. Most of the companies for which we have completed implementation or are in talks for the chatbot requirement, setting right expectations from chatbot has become a real challenge. People foresee chatbots as a universal chatbot, which will be able to handle queries from each and every department and will also be able to handle small talk chats as well. But setting right expectations and boundary of chatbot is important while development, as well as during marketing of the chatbot also. For setting right expectation, it's also important that you scope the chatbot correctly. As an organization, you have to understand what all assets are available with you, if there are any FAQ documents available or APIs that are needed for chatbot or customer care voice logs that is required by the chatbot to fulfill queries. Another challenge that is faced, and specifically after implementation and deployment of chatbot, is its adoption among users. For adoption, marketing of chatbot plays an important role. You have to communicate your end users about the scope, the department, types of questions that chatbot will be able to handle. There are other adoption techniques that will help glue your users to chatbot, like providing them information upfront which interests the users. making your chatbot conversation menu-based to help contain user conversation along with many other techniques that we can follow. Moving on to next challenge, one of the prominent questions that comes to organizations who are adopting chatbots is how chatbot is going to respond for user queries which chatbot cannot answer. Will it go to a human agent or will it raise a ticket in the system, or rather can chatbot handle any new question gracefully? You don't want your chatbot to be stuck somewhere or go in a loop. We discussed some of the typical challenges, but there are some unique challenges that enterprise level chatbot comes with. So in any big organization having country-wide presence and multiple departments, they don't want their chatbot journey to be a single milestone. They want an answer for how chatbot will react when it will serve to all its 15-20 departments. How we can take the chatbot to multiple regions, multiple languages, and that's where architecture of chatbot system has to be defined carefully. Most of the chatbot frameworks that we are seeing provide their NLP engines on cloud, and one of the big challenges that comes is that when users want to make their chatbot secure internal to their organization hack proof. Securing a chatbot while interacting with different multiple components is a challenge, and that has to be catered with the on-premise or on-cloud solution or a hybrid solution and sending minimal generic data to the cloud. The next slide. So we talked about the value that chatbot provides, what are the challenges that are faced during chatbot design, implementation, and deployment. Now let's talk about what Q3 as an organization can help you tackle, how to face those challenges and how we can mitigate them. So Q3 is a software services organization, and we understand each and every landscape of software lifecycle in depth. Our expertise as chatbot implementation comes with owning end-to-end implementation, from conceptualizing to providing licenses to giving infrastructure support, integration with multiple systems, whether it's SAP system or BMC Remedy or a SharePoint ticketing tool. So having a dedicated team of integration experts, we have cloud experts, it gives us an extra advantage of conceptualizing chatbots as per the organization's unique requirements. The second part is that we are platform and framework agnostic. So as per the requirements of chatbot, we can define the platform that best suits your requirements. Take for example, if chatbot has to be on a Google Assistant, Google Dialogflow framework is the right choice. If user wants an open source or on-premise solution, Rasa will be the best fit. So depending upon your organization's preferences, chatbot architecture is defined. And this is what makes us unique from other chatbot boutique companies. Boutique companies will have their own framework where you put your questions and systems which may or may not fit in their chatbot environment. In challenges, I talked about the challenge of scaling your chatbot. It's very important that when you design chatbot architecture, you should take into account multiple business entities or the departments which chatbot will eventually grow to. So designing a chatbot architecture with the concept of concierge to specialist bots will help handle this scenario. Having a concierge bot to handle queries from every user and department and understanding intent of user will be the entry point of the bot, after which concierge bot will transfer the request to individual specialist bots based on different departments. If we talk about chatbots that is internal to an organization, that basically caters to internal employees, security and personalization is important. Security of how the data will travel to NLP engine or to the core chatbot engine becomes a main concern. And some of the checks that has to be made for securing your chatbot is that your chatbot core logic engine should be within your secured intranet, and only queries or the questions can go to NLP engine on cloud for recognizing intents and entities. So your chatbot core engine will be interacting with the internal secured systems and will only be communicating through a token-based authentication or other authentication techniques on cloud systems. Oftenly, we have been in discussion with clients on whether solution should be on-premise or on-cloud, or should we go with a hybrid one. And what we have observed is that the hybrid solution has the best of both worlds. NLP capabilities of big players like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they are constantly updating with more advanced capabilities of understanding intent, adding multiple languages to their database every now and then. This should be leveraged with sending user query on cloud to classify and to find intents and entities. On the other side, keeping your bot code logic on-premise will take away all your concerns of security. Talking about the last point, we also provide workshops. So we have workshops with clients on conceptualization to what we should start with, and we act as a consulting partner to conceptualize and visualize their chatbot journey. Taking requirements from clients and scoping chatbot is what we start with. And points to remember when starting with a chatbot in your organization is that you should start small with contained scope and keep evolving chatbot on basis of adoption and user feedback, and then go for a full-blown chatbot. That's from my side. Over to Amit.
Thanks, Vinod, for sharing these best practices. Now we know that just putting a chatbot may not work. Well, isn't this a stinker? As Vinod said, complexity in the simplicity. I think it's time to get little more techy and see how is the architecture of chatbot and how an ideal and flawless implementation model should look like. With this tone, I would like to invite Uzair, our chatbot architect from Q3 Solutions.
Thanks, Amit. Hi, everyone. So now that we know what chatbots are, let's dive a little deeper into how they actually work. The key factor that has led to the rise of chatbots is its simple user interface. To carry out a task or to get a query resolved, the user simply has a conversation with a virtual assistant in the form of chat, like he or she would with an actual person. Two areas of artificial intelligence, natural language processing and machine learning, have played a big role in making this possible. These two parts of AI allow us to recognize the intents of a user's question by breaking down a question into important and unimportant parts. From the important part of the text, the NLP engine can extract additional information like entities. As you can see in this example, the user wants to know what the weather in Delhi is like. The NLP engine recognizes that the intent of the question is to know the weather forecast, and the entity here is Delhi. Next slide. So chatbots can be integrated with various channels, like a standalone Android or iOS application, a web chat window on SharePoint, or any other web application. Channels like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Google Assistant, and Skype are also being used a lot. So the interaction of the end user with the chatbot starts with the user typing or asking a query through voice inputs from a chatbot on any of these channels. Almost every major player in the market has its own NLP engine for chatbot development. Microsoft has its Microsoft Cognitive Services, Google has Dialogflow, Amazon has Lex, IBM has Watson. So there are also many open source options available like Rasa. So each of these engines comes with their own set of merits, demerits, and use cases, depending on the channels that they provide. As Vinod mentioned, a client might choose to go with Google Dialogflow if he wants a bot on Google Assistant. Similarly, for integrations with SharePoint, Microsoft Bot Framework is recommended. Chatbots can exchange data with any backend system, like a database, SharePoint, SAP, AWS, Lambda functions, you name it. So to develop a chatbot, you can use any of these technologies like Microsoft ASP.NET, Node.js, Angular, Java, Python, etc. There are many no-code chatbot development platforms available. They are just coming up in the market. So for example, Microsoft has recently introduced Microsoft Power Virtual Agents to easily create and maintain chatbots without having to code. It can also be clouded with other Microsoft Power apps like Power Automate, Power BI to create a chatbot. So this is an architecture diagram of a basic chatbot solution. Every chatbot solution has three major components. There's the UI part from which the end user interacts with the chatbot, the logic or the business part, which is the brains behind your bot, and the NLP engine, which breaks down a question into intents and entities. Based on these intents and entities, the business logic decides which answer to give to the user. It can fetch the answer from a predefined knowledge bank or from a backend system through web APIs. This architecture is completely customizable and scalable to suit the requirements of the client. It can be completely on-prem, on cloud, or a hybrid of on-premise and cloud, where the business logic is deployed on-premise, while only the NLP engine is on cloud. Slide, please. So let's take a look at what a typical chatbot development life cycle looks like. Implementation of any chatbot solution starts with the requirement gathering phase. This is one of the most important parts of developing any chatbot solution. We at QC Technologies carry out multiple requirement gathering sessions with the client and stakeholders to figure out the questions, the type of questions, and all the backend systems that need to be integrated with the chatbot. So based on this, we decide which framework we should move forward with. Then a script or a conversation flow is designed for all the different types of questions, as well as for cases where the chatbot does not have an answer. After developing and deploying your chatbot solution, it is important to monitor and monitor all the interactions of the bot with the users on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis. Because a fully autonomous, unsupervised learning model can be dangerous in some cases. Like recently, Microsoft had to shut down 2 bots because they created a language of their own to negotiate with each other. Promoting your chatbot within your organization is another important and underrated part of the chatbot development lifecycle. After your bot goes live, it is recommended to promote it within your organization and encourage your employees to get their query resolved from the bot. Analysis of the chatbot logs and other monitored data can be used later on to retrain the bot after it is live. This improves the usability of the bot.
So here on this slide, as you can see, we have highlighted scripting, monitoring, and promotion. So these are very important parts of a chatbot development life cycle, and all these 3 things have to be taken care of flawlessly to have a very good chatbot implementation.
Over to Amit.
Thank you, Uzair, for such an informative deep dive and letting us know that how AI-powered chatbots have gone altogether different by utilizing the power of machine learning and natural language processing. Now with this, we have reached to an exciting phase of this webinar, actually the real crux, that how we are converging towards intelligent and self-learning chatbots. Here, I would like to invite again Varun and Uzair to share some of the most unique and exciting customer success stories, basically the business scenarios, where we have helped our customers to flawlessly implement chatbots in the most efficient and result-oriented manner. Please, Varun and Uzair.
Thanks, Amit, again. So we'll talk a bit about the chatbot coverage across various industry verticals and usage. So basically, as we have spoken throughout this webinar, chatbots have usage virtually across everywhere. Wherever you can think of repeated queries or human assistants doing repeated tasks, chatbots can be deployed to reduce the human effort, and then those humans and those support staff can be used for more value-added services. So they are present across industries like telecom, oil, power and gas, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, hospitality, you name it, and they are there. And various use cases, or I would say the typical use cases of chatbots with which you can start your implementations are something like automation, IT automation, self-help tools, employee assistants, HR help desk, booking assistants, document search assistants, employee onboarding, customer service desk. So these are the typical use cases and verticals where chatbots are used. And as QC Technologies, we have developed and deployed chatbots across all these areas. So let's talk a bit about some of the use cases where we have helped our customers in developing and deploying chatbots, starting with an integrated employee assistant. So we developed a very advanced level employee assistant, a chatbot for a leading oil and gas company. The basic premise was that the HR, IT, and admin functions, they get a humongous amount of repeated queries by the employees, and answering these queries take up a large amount of their time, which they can otherwise utilize for other value-added services. So that is the reason the customer had a large team handling only the queries related to leave policies, IT issues, maternity leave policies, location-specific information, etc. Uzair will talk a bit more about the technology part of this.
Thanks, Varun. So this chatbot has over 1,000 FAQ type of questions and answers for HR, admin, and IT departments of the client, as well as integrations with many backend systems like BMC Remedy, ServiceNow, etc., and SharePoint ticketing tools. So it has the capability to fetch data from SAP and other backend systems. The architecture of this solution was a hybrid one, where the business logic was deployed on-premise, while only the NLP part was on cloud. As Varun mentioned, this chatbot also gives location-specific answers to the user. For example, a user from Rajasthan will only get answers from the policies from Rajasthan and not from other locations of the client, like Gurgaon. For any unanswered questions, the bot can raise a ticket on SharePoint and assign it to a concerned person who can resolve this query. This bot was developed on ASP.NET using Microsoft Bot Framework. Yeah.
As you can see from the screenshots also here, the chatbot provides some additional features like moodometer, birthdays and anniversary reminders and notifications also. Moving on. The second use case is for a travel booking agent. So one of our customers, which is a leading hotel chain in India, they wanted to have a chatbot on its website to enable the users to not just explore the hotels, their facilities and rooms, but also do the booking right from the bot itself, which is quite an innovative thing in the hotel industry, to be very frank. The idea was that the chatbot becomes a virtual agent of the hotel chain to help users across all the queries related to information and booking of the hotel.
Yeah. So this chatbot is basically a complete booking assistant in which the users can not just book a hotel, but can also see the details of the hotel, the rooms, and all the other facilities that the hotel has to offer. So this is a pan-India application in which the users can book a hotel from more than 60 locations of the client. It also has login sign-up mechanism and can provide a wide range of offers to the users based on their membership tier, location, and history.
So the third use case for billing assistant voice bot. So this client, which is one of the major power utility and distribution companies in India, so they were handling multiple users' queries dealing with issues like high billing, faulty meters, etc. The main challenge was that each of the users' queries, however trivial it may be, the customer service agents were actually spending about 20 to 25 minutes per call just answering these trivial queries. Also, they had to go through multiple systems to understand the user's history of usage and other analytics. So the client here wanted to develop a simple solution to handle this situation.
Yeah. So this is a new age chatbot. The idea behind this bot was that the users don't need to install or sign up for just another app on the Play Store or App Store. Instead, he or she would simply say, "Okay, Google," on their smartphones and get their queries resolved from Google Assistant. On the back end, the Google Assistant talks to our bot. So this solution was developed using Google Dialogflow, with a very powerful backend system that not only does data crunching but also performs predictive analysis and keeps a report of the issues that the user might contact the customer care for ready. So when a user contacts the bot for a billing related issue, the bot already has an answer ready.
So to make such a kind of solution, it actually requires a solid business and technical expertise across multiple areas, which are the business processes, AI/ML, chatbots, predictive analytics, mobile development, etc. So this is what the value Q3 provides to our clients across all these areas. So we are not just providing a small deployment, but we are providing the whole solution, which includes all these technologies. Coming to the last use case, so this was a sales enablement bot. One of our existing customers, which is also a leading manufacturer of consumer durables and electronics, and a multinational company, they actually came to us asking how can we make the life of a sales representative simple by using technology. So to be very frank, this is a very high level problem statement. The customer has more than 100,000 sales representatives in India, whose only task is to work with the retailers and ensure that the products are getting sold. For this, they regularly require information like product list, sales targets, list of retailers, monthly journey plans, incentives, attendances, etc. So earlier we had developed a solution for the customer for Salesforce automation. The solution was mobile and web-based, providing lots of data and functionality. And on the back of that, we designed a mobile-based chatbot for this particular customer.
So this bot was developed using Microsoft Bot Framework, having integrations with clients' existing iOS and Android apps, as well as their web application. This bot has a completely on-premise type of architecture because of the sensitivity of the client's data. The chatbot can answer questions like stores near me. Based on the person's location, the bot will show you the list of stores that are near him. So this bot can also be used by managers and senior management. So basically a manager can also ask about the team performance or a question about a particular team member. This bot has a very powerful machine learning model running in the background, which keeps the journey plan and other information always ready.
Thanks, Varun, and thanks, Uzair, for sharing these wonderful real-time use cases. Now, we would be happy to take up your queries and questions here. I would request you to please unmute yourself first. As you can see on the screen, you may be probably on mute, so please unmute yourself before asking the question. And in case you want, you can also type your questions to the WebEx chat window. Please unmute yourself before asking.
Hi all.
Hi, yes.
So I have been listening to the webinar session and came across, in fact, a lot of interesting facts through the entire session, and have a query as well. So if you can help me with that. So one of you mentioned that chatbots can be integrated with Google Virtual Assistants. So what type of chatbots can be integrated with Google Virtual Assistant? And my second question is there any limitation to it?
So yeah, to answer your question, hi. So it can totally be, a chatbot can totally be made on Google Assistant, and we can basically make any type of chatbot for any domain on Google Assistant. But coming to the limitations part, so the limitation here would be on the UI front, because the UI would be limited to what Google Assistant or Google has to offer. If you, on the other hand, so let's say if you are developing a chatbot on a mobile app, a custom mobile app, be it a Xamarin, iOS, Android, or a web application, the customization of the UI is completely up to you. So you can customize it based, as per your basically look and feel of your main application or your company. So yeah, so hope that answers your question.
Yes, that has helped me answering the query. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. And just to reiterate here that all of our solutions, they are custom developed with specific customer requirements in the focus. So that may include various technologies, and that's what we bring together to the table. We are happy to answer any other questions if there are.
Are we having any other question? Well, now we have come to the end of the session. I would like to extend a big thanks for joining us, and I'm sure you must have found this exciting and knowledge-oriented, and you must be having some great thoughts in your mind. We at Q3 Technologies would be more than happy to share our experience and expertise in more detailed manner in case you, your colleague or friends are planning to implement chatbot or framing any strategy for this. You may please feel free to reach out to me, Varun, or you can directly write to sales@q3tech.com. We'll be ending this session. Thank you.